There is talk of a new coin to mark America's 250th birthday. On paper, it sounds like a celebration of liberty and history, but in reality, it says far more about the state of money itself. What should have been a patriotic gesture has become a reflection of how far we have drifted from value as something real. The design reminds us that modern money is no longer about weight or worth, but about belief. And it comes in the same week that gold is threatening to break through $4,000 an ounce. A reminder that while faith can be printed, value cannot. The United States Treasury has confirmed it is considering a new $1 coin to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. The proposal is genuine, but the illegal design remains a draft. So far, so familiar. Yet what has captured public attention is not the anniversary or its historical significance, but the reported design itself. Both sides of the coin feature President Donald Trump. On one side, his profile beneath the word liberty, and on the other, his fist raised with the slogan, fight, fight, fight. It is quite literally a two-sided Trump coin. The design will divide opinion. Some will see it as a tribute to strength and perseverance, but others will reject it outright, refusing to spend or even accept it. And that division is the most revealing part of all. Money was once the thing a society could agree on. It stood above politics and personality, but now it depends on the stories we choose to believe. And this is the heart of the matter. Governments and central banks have built a system that demands belief long after it has abandoned value. And we are told to trust that debt can be wealth, that printing is progress, that policy can replace principle. The proposed coin isn't an isolated event. It's a symptom of a monetary age in which symbols and slogans have replaced substance. When a nation can mint such a design without hesitation, it has already learned to suspend disbelief in the idea of money itself. To be clear, this is not really about Trump. It's about what the episode reveals. The coin could feature anyone, and the meaning would be the same. It is not the face that matters, but the faith that it requires. There was a time when coins bore kings and emperors not as decoration, but as guarantees. The image of Caesar on a Roman aureus told the holder that his gold was sound, his empire stable, and his taxes enforceable. And it was propaganda, but it was backed by substance. Rome's authority rested on conquest, taxation, and hard metal. When the silver was debased, so too was the emperor's image. And by the 3rd century, Roman coins had become thin, tinny things, with the faces distorted and fading. It wasn't the artist who failed, but the money itself. The Trump coin, if it ever sees daylight, would be minted really in pure irony, a fiat coin for a fiat age. Two sides of personality instead of two sides of value. And it would be funny if it were not such a precise metaphor for our time, because we live in a world where symbols are being mistaken for substance and where central banks are promising past for collateral and where confidence is valued more than solvency. The proposed coin is not a break from the system. It is its mirror. Now, history is full of rulers who confuse their likeness with legitimacy. Those Roman emperors began it. The French monarchy, they perfected it, printing Louis XVI's face on assignats to fund debt and revolution alike. They were backed by confiscated land, accepted, they were inflated, and then despised. And within a few years, they were worthless, and the king's portrait presided over ruin. Weimar Germany took the lesson further. Its mark, once backed by gold, was replaced by faith. Faith in the Reichsmark, in recovery, in the word mark itself. By 1923, a single US dollar was worth 4.2 trillion marks. Children flew kites made of banknotes, and workers demanded wages twice a day before prices rose again by lunch. Zimbabwe gave the world the $1 trillion note. Venezuela issued the million bolivar note. Each time, leaders claimed that paper represented strength, and each time the story ended the same way. Governments that could not face fiscal reality turned to imagery. The slogans grew louder, the printing became faster, and the people, they got poorer. Now, America is not Zimbabwe. It still issues the world's reserve currency. A coin that is meant to mark the birth of liberty instead reveals how far from independence money has fallen. The dollar, once backed by gold and the sweat of its people, now floats on policy and politics because it is an IOU without much of an anchor. The fact that such a coin could even be proposed without embarrassment shows how comfortable we have become with the idea that money is a story we tell ourselves. We are expected to believe in value because belief is all that remains. Every civilization that has lost its monetary discipline has replaced it with ceremony. When the Roman denarius lost its silver, emperors issued ever more grandiose coins bearing their divine likeness. When French assignats collapsed, the revolutionaries, they minted tokens declaring virtue and equality. When Weimar fell apart, Germany replaced money with ideology. And each time the symbols grew louder as the money grew weaker. Now, the $1 coin, should it ever be minted in its proposed form, would be the most honest piece of money produced in decades. It would tell the truth about what the dollar and central bank issued currencies worldwide have become. Tokens of belief, not a unit of value, two faces of the same faith. And in the end, the Treasury will likely clarify that this was only a draft design, and the final coin may feature something perhaps safer, perhaps a flag or a bell. The controversy will fade, but the fact that such a design could even be entertained is revealing because it shows how monetary debate has slipped from the realm of economics into that of entertainment. When crises are resolved by printing and policy becomes performance, well, a coin like this is not surprising. It is inevitable. In an age where money has no anchor, design becomes destiny, and the image on the coin matters because it is the only part still visible to the public. The rest happens in the invisible world of debt, derivatives, and digital promises. The Trump coin is, in that sense, a work of brutal honesty. It does not pretend to represent value. It represents spectacle. The Roman debasements, the assignats, the marks, the bolivars, the rubles, all began with the same impulse to use imagery as reassurance. It worked for a while until the image itself became the problem. Once the public stops believing in the image, the money is finished. Now, gold does not have this problem because it doesn't depend on mood or law or politics, because it has no face and it makes no promise. It can't be voted in or cancelled out. It simply exists, silent, incorruptible, indifferent to the vanity of those who would stamp their likeness upon the things that they create. And that is why it remains money, even when everything else becomes parody. And this is why at Goldcore we draw a clear line between bullion coins and collectible coins. The two are often confused, sometimes deliberately, and this confusion has cost investors real wealth over time. Collectible or commemorative coins like this proposed Trump dollar are not investments. They are curiosities. They derive their price from sentiment, from novelty or political fashion, not from intrinsic metal value. Their worth rises and falls with attention spans, not with the market. Now, bullion coins, by contrast, are a form of real money. Their value lies in what they are, not what they depict. A gold Britannia, maple leaf, Krugerrand, these are not bought for their substance because they are priced pretty much close to the spot value of gold or silver, meaning they track the true underlying asset. They can be bought and they can be sold anywhere in the world, and their liquidity is universal. They need no approval from a treasury or the blessing of a political movement because they simply are. Now, a collectible coin may one day be worth more to a museum than to a mint. A bullion coin will always be worth what it weighs. And this is the critical distinction. Collectability is a story. Bullion, that's the standard. Because the proposed $1 coin might one day fetch a premium among collectors, but it will never protect wealth like a sovereign or a philharmonic. One appeals to nostalgia, the other to prudence. True investment in precious metals isn't about the ownership of those icons, but ownership of independence, because bullion is the antidote to financial propaganda. It requires no faith in a face, no loyalty to a leader, no patience for politics, because it represents value that cannot be printed, censored, or erased. It is not a statement. It's a safeguard. So if this new coin is ever minted, collectors will buy it, commentators will mock it, and politicians will debate whether it's patriotic or profane. But history will remember it differently. It will see it as the moment when America's money ceased to symbolize value and began to celebrate itself. And when money becomes a monument to itself, well, value is already gone. The wise, as ever, will hold the real thing. The bullion coin that needs no story, no face, and no faith to be what it is. The wise, as ever, will hold the real thing. The bullion coin that needs no story, no face, and know faith to be what it is. And if you want to find out more how to get involved, why not click on the link below and download one of our guides.